Well, folks, we are back for the final race of the day here from Tucson, Arizona, in the opening round of the Challenge of the Americas. Sun is almost to the very horizon. We have the lights on as we get ready to wrap things up here now. Masters Max put on an unbelievable show for us. And we expect more of the same here right now. Paul Bonilla will start on the pole position alongside John Crow. Joey McGuire and Chris Patterson on row 2. Ken Maxfield and Perry Needham on row 3. Mike Middleton alongside Scott Falcone on row 4. Remember, Falcone went for the lead, ended up falling back to 8th position. He'll have work to do to put himself back into the hunt. David Pregandi and John Breidinger on row 5. Chad Wallace, Jim Carey, row 6. Ed Quinn, James Weaver, row 7. Terry Cook and Kurt Fisher on row 8. 16 drivers set to go. Was the best pre-main? Will it be the best main? We're going to find out, folks. One more lap around. Did not like the start setup. 16 drivers set to go, and as we said, getting dark here. We had a 40-minute delay early. We've tried to work our way back to it, but pretty much still right around the 40-minute mark, we're off. Nonetheless, we're looking good here. The lights are on at the Musselman Honda circuit, and we are ready to go for the final race of the day. They went at it hammer and tong in the pre-main. Bonilla, Crow, and Falcone right in there. Patterson was strong early. He was up to second. McGuire was right there ready to fight. Ken Maxfield came to play as well. David Pregandi had a great opening couple of laps, too. The opening half of that pre-main, he was up in the 4th position. A lot of drivers stepping it up here. This is going to be a great race to watch. We expect a lot coming from this one. A lot of top drivers, though, former champions, national champions, Challenge of the Americas champions, all in the fight here for Masters Max this year. Drivers settling into position. Looking good this time. Green, green, green. John Crow from the outside of row 1 did not get a good start. He's going to come out in 3rd, though. Went deep into the corner, comes out P3, and he goes actually right in front as well of McGuire to take over 2nd. Good opening lap here right now for Crow. Falcone's got work to do, as we said. Oh, someone around backwards coming through turn 4. That slows everybody up, including Falcone. He got hung out to dry on the outside, falls back to 15th. Falcone had nowhere to go as one driver got into the brakes and looped it right at the apex of turn number 4. Everyone had to take evasive maneuvers, and Falcone drops way to the tail of the field. But that has allowed his primary competition, Paul Bonilla and John Crow, to jump out to 1st and 2nd. McGuire into 3rd, Maxfield 4th, and it's Middleton now up into the 5th spot. Middleton 5th, Pregandi 6th. Patterson now in 7th. Chad Wallace 8th. Jim Carey 9th. And Perry Needham rounding out the top 10. Bonilla with a couple of great laps to kick things off here. 25 lapper for Masters Max to cap off the day's action. And, of course, we'll have our podium presentations. Bonilla alone as the leader, but he's got 4 drivers giving chase. Crow, McGuire, Maxfield, and Middleton. Falcone's worked his way by 4 drivers so far. Falcone is now, I believe, just outside the top 10. 11th position for Falcone. Tough one for him as he's trying to win that ticket to get back to the Worlds. Champion of the Masters Max category here this year will win that ticket to be part of the DD2 Masters squad heading to the World Finals next year at a location yet to be announced. Falcone going to try to see if he can't recover here today. He rolls up now, up on Chad Wallace. Falcone to the inside, book it. He'll go to 10th. So Falcone trying to work his way back up here. Recovery mode for Scott Falcone. This may have to be a drop for him, but he's going to work very hard to see what he can do here. Falcone trying to work his way back forward. Next up for him would be, I want to say, Perry Needham. I think he's now in 10th. Needham currently runs in 9th. Out front, Bonilla leading by about 0.7 of a second from Crow. Crow a bit quicker last time by. Let's see if he ekes into the lead again. Not quite. Both drivers 52.5s. 52.4 for McGuire, though. Falcone into 10th position, going to work on Jim Carey. He's by Carey into turn number 1, so Falcone now to 9th. Scott Falcone into the 9th spot. He turned a 52.497, faster than the leaders. Falcone, quickest driver on the racetrack right now outside the top 5. McGuire with the fastest lap of 52.473. But Falcone, over a half a second quicker than Needham. He's got work to do to try to recover here. But he is up on the wheel hardcore. 52.7 for Bonilla, 6 for Crow, 6 for McGuire, 7 for Maxfield, 8 for Middleton. 52.9 for Patterson, his best. 53.1 for Pregande. 52.8 for Needham. 52.7 for Falcone. Scott Falcone now closing up on Perry Needham, who just turned his fastest lap of 52.851. Good lap for Needham. In fact, everyone in the top 10 here looking very strong. 6, 7s, or 8s pretty much by everyone. Pregande slowed back to a 53.1. Running in the 7th position. Falcone going to see if he can't set up Needham for 8th position down the long front straightaway here. Not quite there. Oh, deep pass though for Falcone. Book it. I didn't think he was going to be able to make it work, but he does. Gets around the outside and holds the spot. Big wide arc coming out of turn number 1. Uses all that extra pavement into 8th position. 52.5. Faster than a couple of the leaders. Falcone up on the wheel here after that early issue. He's got himself back to 8th. Bonilla, though, leading by almost a second from Crow. Turned a great lap there, a 52.461. Bonilla, 52.461. Crow, 52.565. As we ask people throughout the weekend to give us a shout-out, just send an email to news@eKartingNews.com. We got a message from Eric Thompson's giving us a little shout-out. We'll give one back to Eric. Thanks for listening in, Moo Guy. All good. Great battle here now. Pregande just turns his fastest lap, and he needs to because he's got Falcone coming strong. 53.055 for Pregande, 52.720 last time by for Falcone, and he's back by 1.6 seconds. Eric Thompson's working for David Pregande here this weekend. David, best we've seen him run here in the Challenge of the Americas. Like I said, top 5 for a while there in the pre-main. Currently runs in the position. Got to stay up on the wheel because Falcone's coming. Falcone quicker by about 0.6 of a second last time by. He did a 52.688. Ken Maxfield just turned his fast lap. 52.469. One of the fastest laps we've seen all weekend. Maxfield coming on strong at the right time. Lap number 8. Only driver with a faster lap time, your leader, Paul Bonilla. So Maxfield quicker by almost a tenth from Bonilla. Another 52.6 for Falcone. He eats another 0.4 of a second into the gap between himself and Pregande. Just a half a second back now, so he's up on the wheel looking to try to get him into turn number 4. Here comes Falcone. Looks to the inside of Pregande, coming through 4. Nice, easy move to the inside. Pregande drops back a spot. Falcone to 7th, Pregande to 8th, and now Needham going to go to work on Pregande. Scott Falcone back to 7th. But a half a second quicker than Patterson, who runs now in the 5th spot. Or the 6th position, rather. So Falcone continues to push up front. 0.6 of a second, the advantage for Bonilla over Crow, because Crow just clawed back at least a 10th and a half. We're far from over here with this one. Sun working its way to the horizon. The sunset beautiful here today in Tucson, Arizona. Well, we got a great way of finishing this off with some incredible racing. Top 4 drivers separated by just about a second and a half, and one of the fastest ones there is the guy in 4th, Ken Maxfield. Maxfield, your reigning champion in the Masters Max category, scored the title at Miller Motorsports Park last year. Represented Team USA in the DD2 Masters category in Valencia, Spain, and he's having a good run here today in 4th. Crow's been kept honest by Joey McGuire. Both of those drivers turning solid laps, trying to close back up on Bonilla. 52.4 for Bonilla, 52.6 for Crow. Bonilla finds more speed. Move to 2nd. McGuire to the inside, but no, can't hold it. Made a great move to the inside, but Crow able to crisscross and get it back. Falcone now trying to close up on Chris Patterson for 6th. Patterson, I don't know if he senses what's happening, but he just turned his fastest lap on lap 11. 52.647 now. 25 lapper, folks. This is Masters racing, and I can tell you, these guys will start getting tired. It's a long race, 25 laps. Who's got the stamina to be able to push through? We'll watch to see if the lap times remain constant. Bonilla, his fast lap of 52.461, he just did a 52.463, so Bonilla almost on his fast laps. Just dropped down to a 52.7. It's going to start getting cold. We're going to start seeing the laps fall, actually. The sun obviously going down. The temperatures are going to drop big time. This will change the way these cars drive. 52.7 Bonilla, 52.7 Crow, 52.9 McGuire, a 52.5 for Maxfield. He closes up on McGuire by 0.4. Middleton, 52.9. Patterson, 52.6. Falcone, 52.5. Top 7 drivers all rolling out 52s. Hard for Falcone to close on Patterson when he's turning such good laps right now. Falcone, the fastest of the top 7, but just not enough to make any ground up. McGuire now by Bonilla, rather by Crow, as both Bonilla and McGuire turn their fast laps, but no. Fastest lap of the race, laid down by Falcone. 52.387, a half a second faster than Patterson. Now, Falcone's got that thing going right now. He knows it. 7.3 seconds back in total, but he's going to try to get himself into the top 5. Falcone was a half a second quicker than Patterson, 0.6 faster than Middleton for 5th. But up front, Bonilla and McGuire both turning 52.4s, a fast lap for Bonilla on lap 13. Backs it up with a 5. Patterson turns his quick lap again in 6th. I love it. Even with Falcone turning these great laps, a 52.435. Patterson's trying to keep him at bay by continually resetting his own fast time, 52.638. on track. It's a 1.17 second advantage for Bonilla over McGuire. McGuire, Crow, and Maxfield, second, third, and fourth. Ken Maxfield starting to put the pressure on John Crow now. That is for the third position. Lights are on, but it's still pretty dark here right now. Those lights really starting to come up. Falcone is finally closed up on Patterson. Over to turn number 4. Patterson looking to the inside of 5. Book it. Falcone gets through. Patterson going to try to race him back to the S's? No. Falcone finally by Chris Patterson. That's for 6th position. Crow and Maxfield both turning their personal bests. 52.5 for Crow, 52.459 for Maxfield. Only a second and a half back still. If Maxfield can keep this up, he may not be done yet either. Falcone about a second behind Michael Middleton for 5th. Remember, he was all the way back in 15th position, and he has worked his way back to 6th already. This is going to give Falcone a little momentum for tomorrow. He does have, I believe, the fast lap of the race at 52.387. He does. Still 9 to go. Falcone's been eating in on the lead, too, but still 7 seconds back. No way he's going to gain a second a lap here. And they're not close enough to race with Falcone to make anything happen for him either. Bonilla, McGuire, and Crow, the top 3. But Ken Maxfield not done yet with Crow. Here goes Maxfield to the inside. A 1, no. This time by Falcone resets fast lap. 52.273, new fast lap of the race for Scott Falcone. Lap 17, 8 to go. He was a half a second faster than Maxfield. You know, if Falcone can get by Middleton quick here and keep the speed up, he's not done with possible podium if they start racing. He's that much faster than the top 5 right now, or top 4. He's less than 5 seconds behind Maxfield. But he's got to get by Middleton here into turn 1. He's got to pull the trigger quick because there's 7 laps to go. Here comes Falcone, deep move into 1. He'll get the job done. Big wide arc coming out of the corner. Comes back in front. Middleton tries to look to the inside of 2. Not going to happen. Good run through 2 and 3. Man, Falcone is good through that little 2-3 combo, the right-left. Little Yikyo. He gets through there nicely with a lot of speed coming out of the corner. So we'll see what Falcone can do now that he's into the 5th position. Regardless of how close he gets to the leaders, it's been a stellar run for Falcone in the 677 to get back up here. Behind him, Middleton now 6th, Patterson 7th, Needham 8th. Pergandy just laid his fast lap down, finally into the 52s, a 52.984 for Pergandy. Nice lap. And Chad Wallace the 605 and 10th. Maxfield continues to try to push on John Crow here. So Bonilla leading by still a second. McGuire trying to close up. Actually, McGuire, his fast lap of 52.430. They are closing a little bit on Bonilla, but with 5 to go, McGuire's got to turn up the wick here. Crow still runs in third. Maxfield fourth. Falcone all by himself now in the 5th spot, but a 52.743. Half a second off the times he turned to be able to work his way into the top 5. He may have plateaued those tires right now. It's hard for him to see the rabbit in front of him, too. That's always a little help. You may go a little deeper, get on the throttle a little earlier when you know you're catching up that much every lap. He's about 5 seconds behind Ken Maxfield, and he's not a second quicker. So Falcone's going to end up in the 5th position if he's able to bring it home still, and that's still a great recovery considering what happened to him at the start of the race. Maxfield continues to try to go to work here. Crow trying to close up on McGuire, too, but remember, he's got to look behind him because Maxfield's looking good. You know, stark contrast for Ken Maxfield. A couple years ago, after he's had that surgery, he was just rubbernecking it around the track, hadn't been able to get himself in shape. But look at him now. He's obviously in very solid shape, handling this, at this point, 21 laps on what is a very tough circuit on your body. Not the fact that it's rough. It's just a lot of G's, a lot of sustained G's. It's a great racetrack, and he is showing incredibly well, putting the pressure here on John Crow. Last time by, he was slower by 0.005 of a second. This time, Crow goes and turns his fast lap of the race to give him a little bit of room. 42.497. Crow, a little breathing room. I'll tell you, though, McGuire just scratching away at the lead. It's down to under 0.8 of a second. There's still 3 laps to go, and he's getting about 1/10 a lap. McGuire's going to be up on the wheel here, folks, over the last couple of laps. He may have a chance to challenge for the win. Look at McGuire. Look how close he is now. Maybe 8 or 9 lengths down the back straightaway. Joey McGuire trying to close on. Oh, he closes big time coming at the end of the straightaway. McGuire up on the wheel. McGuire in the Burrell out of Wenatchee, Washington. Fast time for McGuire, 52.371. Here goes Maxfield to the inside of Crow. Denied. Can't get it done. McGuire to within 0.5 a second. He was quicker by over 0.3 of a second last time by. McGuire closing on Bonilla. Great way to finish things off here in Masters Max. Joey McGuire trying to close in on your leader. 2 laps remaining here. He was very strong coming out of 9 all the way down to 10 and 11. Coming down the straightaway again. They're out of there. Out of the S's. Down the back chute. McGuire. Bonilla looks over his shoulder and sees how close he is. Under the brakes, he gets a couple more lengths again. McGuire strong through 11. White flag going to fly this time by. Tough lap there for McGuire as he lost. He went down to a 3 and then back to a 0. If he'd done a 3 again, it would have been close. So McGuire just has a little trouble overcooking it on the penultimate lap here. White flag flying, will be 1 to go. McGuire trying to close back up. Crow trying to hold off a determined Ken Maxfield. They're closing up on the tail of the field, some black markers, but those drivers are in good shape here right now. They will not play a factor here. Coming down the back straightaway, folks. Great start to the 2015 Challenge of the Americas for this top Masters driver. Coming out of the final couple of corners, the winner in Masters Max, Paul Bonilla. McGuire gets second, Crow third, Maxfield fourth. A remarkable recovery to 5th. For Falcone. 6th is Middleton. 7th is Patterson. 8th is going to be Needham. 9th, Pergande. And I believe rounding out the top 10 is going to be Chad Wallace. Wallace, though, chased in a big way here by Jim Carey. Some great racing in Masters Max, and what would have been like if Scott Falcone would have been in the hunt there. He had some trouble early in the race as somebody looped it in front of him in turn number 4, and he had nowhere to go. But way out to the outside. Fell all the way back into the 15th position, but he fought his way back. This one, though, belonged to Paul Bonilla. He got the lead early, was able to hold off a charge first by John Crow and then by Joey McGuire. And in return, Crow having to hold back Ken Maxfield for the final position on the podium. And, of course, to wrap things up, that great run by Scott Falcone to come from 15th back to 5th as he turned the fast lap of the race. And I'll tell you, Falcone's going to take that knowledge into Sunday, knowing that he has the ability to run at the very front of the field. We will see, I believe, a very different event tomorrow in this Masters Max category as those drivers are going to drop the hammer and go at it together. Folks, we wrap things up for the day's action. It was a great day of competition, one little incident, but we're happy to hear that the driver was okay after that one. Nonetheless, some amazing racing in a number of our categories, some new winners, of course, some disappointments in the Tech Barn, which we are obviously so sad to hear about. But again, folks, wrapping up the on-track action for the day. We'll get through Tech, get things wrapped up, and, of course, rock things over for our podium presentation. We hope you all join us for that. And that'll cap off our opening day of action. 6 races as part of the 2015 Challenge of the Americas. Double headers here in Tucson, Phoenix, and Sonoma. And we'll award our first trophies of the 2015 campaign today. Folks, hope you join us for the podiums, and we might have some more announcements for you. But otherwise, congratulations on a great day of competition.